Hey everybody, it's Paul from Alexandria Knife Sharpening and Laser Engraving. So this is just a little refresher of my methods for doing serrations. What I'm doing right here is pushing up on the back flat side of a serrated knife, and you can feel that the apex is completely rolled to the flat side. And that happens a lot, and you can't miss it. If you rub your hand up the back side of that knife, you will literally feel that very hard rolled over apex, which is why this knife has gone so dull. And you can also see the reflection there on the top of that side. I'm just showing you with my hand. This knife, it is rolled over to that flat side. So the first thing we're going to do here is we are going to sharpen it on a 1x30 at as close to a 0 angle as I can get on that flat side. And my goal here is to pull that burr back straight up and kind of refine it, and it will help restore the tooth side of those little scallops. But this thing is not worn down enough that we need to refurbish the scallops or cut new scallops in like we can do on some diamond wheels. And I'm going to show that in this process too, because this is actually 3 different serrated knives that I'm going to be doing in this video. So once I have that pulled up, I'm going to knock that burr back to the other side, which is what I'm doing here with the wire wheel. I am just now knocking it over to the other side. And then once I have that knocked back over again, you'll see I'm going to go back to my 1x30, and then I'm going to start again removing that burr. And in this instance, I'm going to show you using a felt belt that has diamond spray in it. Felt belts work really great for removing burrs. And I'm going to basically do the same thing here again that I did when I was sharpening. I'm going the flat side. It's going away, so this is edge trailing. And I'm working on getting that freshly raised burr off. And I'm just pulling it up and letting it do what it does. Now, what I'm going to do next, I'm flipping it around, and I'm using the side edge of that felt belt to go into the scallop and knock that burr back and forth. And I'm going to keep doing it until I get that burr completely off and refined using this belt. And this is a very easy method. If you don't have a felt belt, you can do it with leather. Felt belts just work really well. They're a little more, what will we say? I mean, there's more fibers and things kind of sticking out of them. So they grab that burr really well. A little bit better than leather. The other thing you can do with leather is you could use the rougher side. So sometimes I'll do that. But you can remove it with either. You don't have to have a felt belt, but it is a nice thing to have in your arsenal. They're not expensive. And this is one of the things I think felt belts really shine at, is the final step or honing of a freshly sharpened serrated knife. And here I'm just going to do my cut test, and you can see it's cutting beautiful, exactly what we expect. So next I'm going to go on to another serrated knife. This is a slightly different styled one, the one coming up. It's kind of got almost like 3 serrations next to each other, and it's kind of what I tend to call a sandwich knife. Sometimes they have just big outside external scallops on them, and sometimes they have internal ones. So here's that knife, and you can see it's like a set of like 3 little scallops. And I kind of call these sandwich knives. They're really, great for cutting. But same exact thing here. I'm using exactly the same process on this that I used on the very first knife you saw in this video. I'm going to pull it up and then remove the burr the same exact way using a felt belt. This clearly doesn't need anything cut into it, and I couldn't cut that anyway. I definitely don't have anything that can make the particular pattern in this knife. None of my wheels would be able to handle that. So I would never try and do a refurbished job on something like this, because I can't match what's on there. But this knife definitely doesn't need it. It was not completely dull anyway, and sometimes you can get away with just a good bit of stropping. Now, just to be clear, I did actually do a sharpening stroke on this knife. I didn't only do it on the felt wheel. I just forgot to hit record, so you're only getting to see me knocking the burr back and forth and taking the burr off. It was just a mistake I made. I realized later that I somehow missed the sharpening session, but it was no different than the first knife. I just pulled the burr up on that side and then went right to the wire wheel on the Dremel tool and then right to the felt wheel to knock it off. Now what I'm going to do is just repolish it, and there was a mark back here in the middle of the knife, and I want to take that mark off. And I'm starting up high here on the 1 micron, but I pretty quickly see that, yeah, that's not going to do it. That mark is a little bit deeper than that, and I'm going to have to drop down and go to my other radial discs to get that out. Now, it's fine for polishing up this side. There's no marks on that one, but I do want to get that kind of ugly mark that's in the middle of this serrated knife out, or at least make it look a lot better. Now I am doing just what I said. I'm going to jump to the 220 grit, and then I will do that 400 to 600 grit blue radial disc. Now, I recently, a few months ago, switched to using 4-inch radial discs. I no longer am using 3-inch. There's not a huge difference between the two, but it does take a little bit of getting used to. I did notice they kind of react a little bit different. These have a little bit more ability to kind of grab your workpiece than the 3-inch ones had, but I really like them. It was just a matter of me getting a feel for the touch of those radial discs, and now I'm on to the 400, 600 already, just, trying to make this knife look its best. And here I am finishing up, and you can see I kind of turned it a little too fast there, but it did take that mark completely out, and that one is looking really good again. Now, like the last knife, time for a quick cut test, and it's cutting great. And this knife is also ready to go back to that customer, and it's the same customer. This was 3 serrated knives, all from one customer. All right, so now it was on to the last one of the serrated knives, and this one was so worn down, it did actually need, in my opinion, the serrations reground, reprofiled, and that's what I'm doing here. So I got my diamond wheel out. I'm using Wonder Slick Lube from Woodturner's Wonders on this diamond wheel to keep everything nice and cool. Some people have contacted me before and said they were having a problem when they were doing this kind of work, that they're burning the knife or getting black marks on it. When you're working with carbon and diamond wheels, it is always beneficial if you can have some type of lubricant or something to keep it cool. And Wonder Slick Lube, I have found from Woodturner's Wonders, is the best for this. It's a tiny little bar. It looks like deodorant, and you just tap it to the wheel, but that will keep it cool, makes everything run well. It keeps your wheels from gumming up with material in them, and it's just worth doing. I am now doing another pass. I have always found that usually it takes me a couple passes when I am refurbishing a knife that I actually have to go to the extreme of cutting a new serration into. And that's what you're seeing here. It's just another pass. I'm trying to make sure that I'm hitting that entire scallop from the back all the way to the front, raising a burr. Now, that's the other thing here. When you do serrations this way, which I call this serration knife refurbishing, you are going to make a very significant burr on this knife, and that's the hardest part, is just the removal of this very significant burr you're going to create. Now we're getting into my third pass on this diamond wheel. I did time lapse this. and speed it up a little bit so that we're just not sitting here watching the same thing over and over again. Next up, I wanted to polish this up a little bit, and I wanted to work on the handles a little bit. This handle was very dingy, had a lot of scratches in it, so I'm polishing the handle, but I'm also going to hit the entire knife on this buffer, because a buffer can also do some deburring for you. And as long as you're going edge trailing, I can hit that blade on there, and that very significant burr that was on there, you can get it off with a buffer, as well as a felt belt or a leather belt. Any one of those things will work. And I just wanted to show you that that is an option. Another thing that works quite well would be a 3M Scotch-Brite wheel. I have only small ones, but I've done burr removals with that before too. Another option is your radial discs. You can remove burrs with your radial disc as well. And you can see this is cutting just beautiful. So these 3 serrated knives, they are now done, and we can pack them up and get them ready to go back. Just wanted you to see that you just have to assess them, take a look at each one, and decide what's going to be the best method to approach resharpening that serrated knife. They all don't always need the same things, and many times they don't necessarily need full refurbishing and cutting of those scallops. When you do that, you are making a very big burr, and it's going to take you more time to get that off than it is if you're just doing a typical resharpening of a not very worn down serrated knife. And for those of you that are interested, I will leave a link in the description to RE Sharpening's belt splitter and page on Etsy where he sells them. Hey everybody, it's time for me to make a new set of some split down belts, and I wanted to show you how I do that, and I wanted to show you the RE Sharpening belt splitter from Robert Ellis. This is what he made for me. It's just awesome. This will make, if you want to split them all at one time, which is what I do, I just do a whole batch because it can make up to 7 at one time. I actually make 6 because I pulled one blade out in here so that I get one that's like double the size, and then I get a bunch of small ones. That's how I do it. And I tend to use old belts. So I run a belt. This A30's about a month old, and now it's going to get a new lease on life as just a belt used for doing serrations and all the other things that I use split belts for. This is really easy to use. The best method that I have found is not trying to, I used to try and hold it with my hand, but it's way easier if you just take the RE belt splitter, put it into a vise. You want to make sure it's good and snug, but it doesn't have to be too crazy snug. And then this is a safety device to keep the belt in there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my belt lined up in there. Now you don't want everything crazy tight. I have found like you can over tighten it right here. If it's not moving, you might have everything too tight. So you kind of want to get it to just the right spot. And then the hardest part is literally the starting. Once you have it started, it gets pretty easy. And I'm going to bring you in real close here. And let me turn a light on. So the trickiest part, in my opinion, is just the getting it started. So you want to make sure you're all the way through each of these blades. So I like to get in here and just kind of make sure I'm nice and even and that I'm seeing those blade tips all the way through. Okay, and you can see I got that kind of pushed down there now. And also make sure it's not going to move on your vise. So I'm going to tighten this a little bit more because I felt it moving. Okay, that's good. Now what I can do is I'm going to put this on. You want this facing towards your blade edge, and this is just to hold. It helps hold the belts. It helps hold the belt down and keep everything nice and snug so that it doesn't come up and come off. And then the rest of it is fairly simple. It's just a matter of coming on the other side and pulling. The only time it becomes very difficult is when the blades start to get dull. This works just great. Make sure when you re-grab your belt that you're grabbing it nice and even. And then just keep pulling until it goes all the way around. And that's it. I'm done. And let me show you how nice these are. These come out. There we go. And look at this. Perfectly sized and split down belts. And here's the one where I left one out because I like to have one that's about double the size. And that, I find, is also just a great use for your belts that have been used for regular sharpening for a while. You can kind of get a second life out of them by doing this. And that's all there is to it. And that, again, that is the RE belt splitter from Robert Ellis. He's on Etsy. I'll leave you a link in the description where you can get one of these.